All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. If you are new, welcome and hit like, subscribe, and all that shit. And we are reacting to this video from DOUGHTY. I'm actually a fan of his to a degree. You know, I haven't watched videos in a little while, but he made a no contact video, and I want to put up to educate you guys. So let's go.
First things to do post breakup, or
oh, and by the way, it is sped up a little bit. I think it's
after you have detached from somebody else, is one of the worst things to do post breakup or after you have detached from somebody else is to keep an open loop and the energy going back and forth. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you the solution that changes everything, makes it so much easier, actually makes it a higher probability that you are in your own frame, in your own energy, and then there's an attractive energy there, so it actually magnetizes more to you. I'm going to show you exactly what to do, how to do it, and why it is absolutely.
Okay, it is so fast. Hold on. Let me fix this. Let's put it at, that's not what I want. Let's put it at 1.25. That's fine.
Necessary as a next step. Now, the first thing with this process is let's talk about what the no contact rule is. And let's also talk about what happens when you go through a breakup or you go through a separation for someone else. What normally happens is there is an energy that is entangled when you are with somebody else. And you are thinking of this person a lot. You are maybe even physically around this person a lot. And what ends up happening, and there's a lot of energy that's going back and forth. And there's energy that's literally entangled with this other person. Now, what happens is when there is a breakup that happens, or there is some type of separation that happens, the energy then starts to separate. Now, what happens is sometimes one of the people may not want that separation to happen.
So they become attached. So they're attached to the other person, creating lack and need. So he's putting it in a different perspective than, you know, I put it and most other people put it, talking about energy. But at the end of the day, he's not really wrong, because that is what's happening in the background of it all. But that is why I like to do these videos, to give an extra perspective, because I know I've been doing this coaching thing for a long time now. And I tell my students this: when you go through a breakup and you are entangled, as he's putting it, when you focus on your own energy, instead of, you know, I think he's going to talk about attachment. It looks like he is. When you focus on your own energy, you remove that entangled energy. I think that's how he's going to put it. You remove that from the equation. So you start focusing on you start focusing on yourself. So I think that's what he's going to talk about. But that is why when I tell students to do that, and they, you know, focus on their own energy and focus on their own life, that is why they can do, you know, so much better. And they're going to have a way better experience going through no contact and doing no contact correctly. So which usually brings the result of, if you do everything correctly and the one person senses that you're pulling away and you're doing everything that you can do to improve yourself, then you're going to see much more success. But when you're attached and you're constantly chasing, you know, they're going to want to run from you. So that is the beginning of, and that's the purpose of no contact, is to stop that from happening. So
they energetically cling on. Now, what happens is when somebody is energetically clinging on, even after the relationship has fulfilled its purpose, or at least it's ended, what happens is as we think about people, we are literally sending them energy. I know this sounds a little bit esoteric, but it is something that quantum physics shows us, is that everything exists here and now.
And that's kind of true. I mean, look, I've been doing this a long time, and I've had my own personal breakups and experiences. And when I see people doing a half-ass letting go, so to give a little bit more on that, I tell people to let go, let it go, you know, let them go. They'll come around. And what they do is they do a half-ass job of it. So they'll say, okay, I'm going to let go because you told me they're going to come back. That's not truly letting go. You're doing it because you think they're going to come back around and want to be a part of your life. And so you're doing it for them still. So you're still sending them energy, as he's talking about, and you're still doing it wrong. You literally have to sever the connection in any way possible. And it's not easy. That's the first thing I want to tell you guys. I know it is not easy. It is really hard to do. That is why you have to take your focus and place it, every ounce of energy you have, onto you and your own self-growth. So let me rewind a little bit. Because what that's going to do is that's going to stop that energy from going towards them. And then when they feel that distance, now that's when they call you and go, hey.
And Eric, But it is something that quantum physics shows us, is that everything exists here and now. And you have probably maybe even experienced this before when you think of somebody and then they call you, or you have a certain intuition on different things. It's important to understand how this energy dynamic works, because when you are thinking of somebody else, you are sending them energy. Now, if you went through a breakup with someone, you may be thinking about how what happened wasn't something that you wanted to happen. You may be feeling lack. You may be feeling very sad. You may be feeling that attachment doesn't feel so good. So the energy that's being sent to them is something is I feel lack, I feel sad, and that energy they are feeling. Now, in general, when you go through a process of like unmeshing or deseparation or unattaching, sometimes it can be because maybe somebody else wants space. Maybe they want to be in their own energy field and they don't, especially when you talk about attachment styles. You talk about anxious and avoidant attachment styles, which tend to attract each other. There's secure attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. Secure attachments, you're able to give and receive love easily. A lot of times they tend to be in relationships, not always, but a lot of times. Anxious attachment people lean in for love, and sometimes they're trying to fix other people or trying to make the relationship work. And then avoidant people, on the other side of that, avoidant attachment style normally is pushing away love, is a little bit afraid to get, there's an intimacy block there, and they feel more safe, independent, and in their own energy. So what can happen many times is an anxious attachment style person and avoidant attachment style attract each other. And sometimes, and this can fluctuate back and forth, it's important not to get attached to the labels necessarily, because I found in the past that I was anxious at times, and then in different situations been more avoidant. So it's like, I think we all have some of these energies in us depending on our own emotional availability. However, you'll find that the anxious may lean in, the avoidant may kind of back up. But when it comes to this energy, sometimes, especially if this person's avoidant, they may just want space. They want space. They want to be in their own energy field. So the anxious of contacting them, checking in on them, trying to see how they're doing, and projecting energy at them, they're going to feel it and they're going to want to run away more. Now, here is the magic of this whole thing. I've seen this happen so many times. No kidding. I've seen this happen with friends. I've seen this happen in my own life. I've seen this happen with family members. It's incredible how powerful this is. But what happens is very common. Someone may go through a breakup. Somebody is really distraught about it, really wants someone back, is maybe even projecting them energy. And then what they do is, as they're projecting energy at this person, they want them, they're maybe even texting them consistently. And what eventually happens is they're kind of sad about it, and then they might go out with their friends. They may go out and they may disengage the energy they've been projecting. They may focus on themselves.
Yeah. And honestly, that is kind of like the first step in no contact, right? When you first start no contact, you're feeling the relief. And anytime you want space, you're going to feel that too. So let's continue. I don't really have too many notes so far.
May have fun with their friends. They may go out to a restaurant, or they may go play with their dog or their cat or whatever. They might go do something where they disengage the energy. And then maybe that happens for a period of time. Maybe you have so much fun, you forget to like reach out because you're doing your own thing. And then what happens many times once you truly detach is that other person then texts you.
Exactly. So again, I already made this point, I think, but I just really want to reinforce it, because look, that is what letting go is it's true detachment. You can call it moving on. You can call it whatever you want. But what you have to understand is you're not ever going to get your ex back if you're constantly doing things for them in the background. Hey, Kyle, like, I get this all the time. I'm letting go. I want to let go, but I can't seem to do it, or I can't seem to stop thinking about them, or whatever it is. And they'll say, oh, I feel so much better today, I'm actually letting go. But deep down inside, truly, the reason, like most of the time, if no contact and breakups don't get back together, the reason why it truly doesn't happen is because one person is still clinging on and hoping that things will change and get better. And it's just the wrong way to go about it. You have to detach. You have to let go. I've been telling guys that since day one, since I've been starting coaching. And I've refined my message, of course, but when you truly detach and let go, they reach out to you, they call you, they're, hey, how are you? And then you can choose. See, and the earlier you do it, the better, but it's also the hardest in the beginning. You can, as I think it's built into us to get over things. So as you go through time, of course, you are going to naturally detach, but it does have to be a choice to a degree. So you have to choose. And then that's usually 2 months, 3 months later for some people it's longer, some people it's shorter. And by then, sometimes they've moved on. Sometimes you've moved on and you're like, I don't even want this person anymore. So
says, hey, how are you? Or what's going on? So it's very interesting the way the no contact rule is, because it's literally a game, and that's why you might not want to play the game anymore. But it's a game of energy investment. And the person that is the least...
Actually, that's a really good fucking point. It's a game of energy investment. When I've been doing coaching in the past, like not in the past, but like, you know, last fucking 6 months, I've been talking a lot more about energy. And I say, okay, if you're going to invest, you and I have the same 24-hour period, right? If you're going to invest anything into you, it should be what you want it to be. So what do you want your life to look like? And I get them really focused on the individual energy of their own life and their own life force. And that is, I think, where a lot of guys go wrong, because they're like, how can I get my ex back? What can I do to get them to pay attention to me? What can I do to get them to, you know? And it's coming from a place of force and lack. Again, there's a book called Power versus Force by David Hawkins, but it also leads into the idea of just letting it go and focusing on your own life. And it sounds so simple and almost too simple, but that's the way this shit works, because emotions overcomplicate everything. Okay, so let's go.
Attached always holds the frame. Doesn't mean not compassionate, not loving, but it means least attached to outcome.
Let's go back, because
always frame of energy investment. And the person that is the least attached always holds the frame.
That is so fucking true. The person that is the least attached always holds the frame. So again, and people always think of the opposite of they think a detachment is not loving, just like he's about to say, because I think I went ahead a little bit just now. But no, I love my wife, but I understand that, and of course, if she left, it would hurt. You know, I understand, not like nothing lasts forever, but at the end of the day, you know, I know that it's finite, right? Like either by her choice or death, you know. I mean, I understand that, and I really embrace that and take that in, and I don't get it. Like, she lives her own life, and we're both choosing to be around each other. So, you know, it is what it is.
Doesn't mean not compassionate, not loving, but it means least attached to outcome. Because there's
exactly least attached to outcome. So being very present.
An energy that's unwavering. Now, for this no contact rule and understanding this, what this specifically means is you bring your energy back. You bring your energy back to self. You bring the energy back inside your own body. And you stop projecting it at somebody else, thinking that that somebody else is the cure to your happiness, is going to fill up your cup.
Exactly. Fellas, that is exactly the point. And when somebody chooses to not have you in their life anymore, they choose to push you out, and you choose to continue to try to bring them back. Again, you're forcing that energy. You're only doing yourself a disservice. And because that person is trying to, you know, get back, and you're trying to move forward. And every time you try to do that, it's like a cat. They're always going to run from you. But when you let that person come to you and you let them breathe and experience life and whatever, then cool. If they come back around, that's up to you to choose to let them in or not. But don't chase. This is why. The energy, this video is explaining it perfectly when it comes to energy. And that's why you have to understand AGFLAP. So apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride, and then CAP. So CAP is courage, acceptance, and peace. And this is about acceptance, okay? And having the courage to let it all go.
When we're growing up, we look to our parents to meet our needs many times. And if they didn't meet our needs, we'll try to find somebody else that maybe, just maybe, can meet our needs. So then what happens is we glorify it sometimes, even put them on a pedestal, and we think of somebody, they are the savior to our happiness, and we're trying to close the loop of the childhood trauma, of the childhood abandonment we may have felt. The challenge is that we put all this pressure on somebody else. They feel that pressure, and then they may want to go do their own thing, or maybe they want to break from that pressure. And what we have to realize is it's not their job to do that. We can take back our own energy, and it's like magic when you do this. When I learned about a technique called the frame technique,
So let me just reinforce that point a little bit more, because I don't know where this video is going now, but it is not anybody's job to fix you, and it's not your job to fix anybody else. And I'm talking to mostly men right now. It is not your job to fix a woman. Okay, women who are listening, it is not your job to fix a man. It is your job to work on yourself, go back into self, like he's talking about, and look at your flaws. And yes, they're there, and work on them, chisel away at them. Okay. And over time, as the awareness of your issue and the work becomes more and more present, the voice inside that tells you that you are lacking starts to get quieter. That's the best way I can explain it to you. And that fear that hits is also different. So it just becomes quieter and more relaxed. That's really the best way I can explain it to you. And then you just don't feel those anxious thoughts and depressive thoughts anymore. You don't feel, you're not attached to them. You don't get attached to your emotions.
I bring the energy to my hands and my feet. Like magic when you do this. When I learned about a technique called the frame technique, where I bring the energy to my hands and my feet, I would then go out in the public and notice that people respond to me very differently, just simply because I'm not projecting energy at them. Before, I would project energy at people where I would want someone else's validation. I would want someone else to say hi to me. I would want someone else's approval. And the funny thing is, the less approval I need, the more I get it. The more I'm present inside my own body, the more it's like that energy is there of the approval or whatever, but I don't need it because I brought my energy back. And bringing your energy back is a part of the no contact rule. The no contact rule is that if you really want to attract somebody back, one of the best things you can absolutely do is to actually let them go.
Been saying it, and been saying it.
To completely let them go. Now, when I say let them go, sometimes you might hear that and say, okay, I'm going to do that, Aaron. I'm going to let them go, and then they're going to come back.
And see, I said this earlier clearly, but when people think just like that, as I pause it like literally right on the caption, when people think like that, oh, they're going to come back, you're not letting go.
But if you let go to get them back, this will not work because it's a means to an end. You're letting them go to get them back, and it means you're not really in the energy of pulling your energy back. You're doing it to manipulate the situation.
And that's what most of you guys do subconsciously. You guys do that, and you'll say to me, oh, yeah, I'm letting go, Kyle, I promise. And then you're not actually really doing it. You're still doing it for them because you still desire them. You still want them. You still lust for them.
The key is to let go because you realize that maybe the relationship wasn't the most healthy. Maybe you're letting go to realize, I need to stop abandoning myself. Because that's a lot of times what we do when we have somebody else, we're trying to like fix them, to fix our parent, or have them make our needs met that our parents didn't meet. And the key to this, the magic of this, is realizing that you can stop abandoning yourself for other people. You can bring your energy back and know that you are good enough the way you are. So many times I've abandoned myself. I've had trouble setting boundaries. I've said yes to things I don't want to do. I've could just tell that I would be around people that were only really around me for some type of gain or something like that. And a lot of that was just me not knowing my own sense of value and worthiness. And
that's exactly what it is. It's understanding that you have value and you bring things to the table in relationships and in life. And if you don't have those, build them. Build some skills. Learn something that you can deliver to the world. And if you can do it at scale, you can become very wealthy. So guys in their 20s, for example, don't have a whole lot of that. They have a real lack mentality. And when you reach your 30s, you're starting to, just in general, you're starting to solidify, okay, this is what I want to be doing. This is what I've gone to school for. This is the blah, blah. And usually by the time you reach your 30s, you've sort of formed an idea of where you want to be going. And society has a push on that too. But the truth is, when you pick something and you just become very good at one or two or three things and you master them and you put them out there in the world, again, depending on what the scale level is, your finances can be totally replaced by your passions. But I always tell guys, start a blog, start a YouTube channel, whatever it is, for just money. And then you can replace your income, which can then give you a more passionate projects to do, and you can make money doing that. So anyway,
also feeling safe around other people that felt like they needed.
But anyway, the point that I was trying to make is you're going to feel so much better and you're going to be a much happier person when you really build yourself up.
Me. Because if I felt needed, then I felt value. So for this process, what I had to realize, I had to start checking with myself, saying, what do I want? Who am I? Well, can I set boundaries here? Checking with myself. Another thing I'll share is this. I've shared this a couple times, but just to show the energy of this, I actually did this at my live event the other day. I did the Shift Experience live event, and I did this thing where I had people in the crowd. I said, you know, I had somebody else. I experienced this at a different life transformation place in Costa Rica. But basically, this TEDx speaker that came in was talking about energy. She's an energy, like an energy physics expert, and she said, "Watch this. Like, everyone, send me energy right now. Everyone, send me energy." Everyone in the crowd sent in her energy. She said she felt her energy back up. She would back up. It literally was like pushing her away, repelling her. She said, "Okay." Now, people think that if you send someone energy, you're magnetizing them to you. You should not try this. Put all the energy back in your body. Feel inside your hands and your feet. Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. As people brought it back, she said she could feel the tug on the energy attracting to the crowd. Now, that's because the energy dynamics are at play to where the more embodied you are, the more in your own frame you are, the more you stop abandoning yourself, the more you bring your energy back, the more attractive you are. However, the more you are project your energy out, want something from somebody else, you are diffusing your own energy, people can feel that. And as people feel that, it then repels them. It's like you're chasing a dog, and if you chase a dog, it's going to run from you. Energetically, that's the energy, that's the game it's playing. And reality is simply reflecting back the energy we're putting out. And if we're putting out the energy of like putting out that energy and sporadically scattering it, then people feel that and it repels them. But being in your own frame is one of the most magnetic things you can do. Now, something I'm going to be doing as well is a 21-day confidence challenge. This is brand new, July 1st to the 21st. Go through a process with me and thousands of others as we completely transform our confidence from the inside out. We remove fear, we remove doubt, and we learn how to really remove the blocks to us feeling self-love so that we can either attract love or go deeper in our own relationship. So this is the 21-day confidence challenge. I'm super excited about this. There's going to be live sessions, breath work, so many different cool things. And if you want to join, now is the best time to join to get all the bonuses and lifetime access. Go to www.arrondoughty.com/confidence, or you can just click the link in the top of the description box below. And then also, there's a video right here for why they always come back when you let them go. It's one of my most powerful videos for wiring this concept. Watch it right here. Simply watching this video right here.
So I have made a video just like that. And again, it's just because I understand energy. I understand exactly like everything he just said. I understand that. And, you know, trying to teach it to somebody who doesn't understand it is difficult because they have to really open up their mind and expand. But that's what it is. Anyway, guys, it's been a good video. I hope that helped you. If it did, drop a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. More reactions coming, more original content coming too. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. And done.